This species of mosquito is responsible for transmitting lots of different diseases that cause hundreds of millions of cases every year and tens of thousands of deaths.
What's going on, guys? Today we're at the Ohio State University, my alma mater, and we're getting to work with Dr. Sarah Short because we're putting Ray on the blood buffet line where he's going to get eaten alive by mosquitoes. Now, Sarah, you do some pretty fascinating work here at Ohio State. Tell us a little bit about it before Ray donates himself to science.
Sure, I study mosquitoes. So we rear tons and tons of Aedes aegypti mosquitoes, the yellow fever mosquito, and then we study all of the different ways that they interact with microbes, things like bacteria and fungi.
Okay.
We get to do lots of exciting experiments. We get to ask really cool questions, find answers to those questions, and then tell the world about what we found, and hopefully make a difference in terms of how we understand nature, biology, and maybe also eventually mosquito disease transmission.
How are you feeling about this?
I came in here really confident, but now that I'm in front of all of these mosquitoes, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually pretty nervous because I do have pretty gnarly reactions to mosquito bites, but I mean, there's no turning back now.
I love the fact that today I just get to ask all of the hopefully intelligent questions. Meanwhile, Ray is going to be eaten alive. And without further ado, I mean, I feel like we just got to get your hand in the box so I can ask all the important questions.
Try to not let any of them out if you can.
Okay.
That'd be great.
I will do my best. I see a bunch here, so I'm gonna kind of shake this. I might even blow some air as my arm goes in, but you guys ready?
Yes.
Because the air that we breathe out, actually, that's a good spot to start. Our breath attracts mosquitoes.
It absolutely does. When the female mosquitoes smell the carbon dioxide that we breathe out, they know there's a mammal nearby, and that might be something that I want to bite.
Yeah, I already have a ton of mosquitoes just flocking straight to my arm, so I'm just gonna sit back, try to not move my arm, and yeah, you guys do your thing.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is set a timer for 5 minutes. You are officially now on the clock. That's about how much time I learned it took for the mosquitoes to have their blood meal. For all those out there watching, I feel like mosquitoes are that one bug that is constantly annoying us on a yearly basis. And one thing that I often hear people say is that they're getting stung by mosquitoes. That's not the case, is it?
That's true. Mosquitoes don't sting the way that other insects might sting, like wasps. They actually bite with their proboscis, which is on their head. So the female mosquito sticks her proboscis into you and then sucks your blood through the proboscis. So the proboscis that you see on the female is actually a sheath, for the most part, that contains 6 different what are called stylets. They're these little teeny tiny needles that the female uses to bite. She uses 2 of them to cut your skin, 2 to hold it open, and then 1 to stick in and suck your blood.
Oh my God.
And then the other one she sticks in and actually salivates into your skin while she's feeding. And that saliva contains lots of proteins that actually dampen our initial response to the bite. So that's why you don't feel it as much at first.
And you said the males don't bite, correct?
Yeah, very good point. Males do not bite. Males only feed on like nectar from plants. So they are flying around and they would only go take a nectar meal from plants. They're not going to bite you. So if you're being bit by a mosquito, it's always a female mosquito.
Okay, we'll get back to why she's biting in a moment, but I think this is an important point to bring up. I always hear people saying, there's no good in mosquitoes. They do nothing for this planet. But the males are pollinators then.
There's at least a couple studies out there that show that some mosquito species can pollinate plants, but we actually don't know that much about what male mosquitoes do out in the field because we're very focused on the female mosquitoes. But yeah, we need to know more about the good that mosquitoes do. I actually think that we should do more research on that as a community.
I see Ray squirming back here. I feel like you got something to say, buddy. Wow, they're all over you.
It's insane. Like, it's so hard for me to not move my arm around right now. I mean, they are everywhere. And the more that I look up my forearm, I mean, I can already see red bumps forming. And we're sitting here talking about how good mosquitoes are. They don't seem very good right now. Man, it's so hard to just sit still and let this happen, but I mean, we only have a few minutes left, so I know I can do it.
So when it comes to mosquitoes and misnomers, I feel like there's a lot of them out there. Let's talk through a couple of those things, starting with diet. Does that predicate whether or not a mosquito is attracted to you?
So I'm not aware of any research that shows that diet is a key player, but there could be some data out there that I'm not aware of.
What about perfumes?
Yeah, so perfumes can make a difference. There are repellents or insect repellents that are marketed as repellents, and primarily what they are is just a fragrance. And I have seen studies actually that show that there are some commercially available fragrances that actually have very strong mosquito repellent activity, even though that's not what they were created for at all.
Yeah.
So sure, the perfumes that you're wearing or the colognes that you're wearing could potentially have an impact.
And your blood type, how about that?
There are some data out there that suggest it does, that different blood types are differentially attractive. But there are some studies that show that it does, and then some studies where maybe the data weren't quite as reliable. So I think it's still an open question. One thing that likely has a big effect is your skin microbiome. So the bacteria that are on your skin, and then also your physiology. So just who you are as a person. Some of it is likely genetic, but again, we don't have a lot of data on that. It changes the way that your skin smells. You produce metabolites that the mosquitoes can smell, and the bacteria on your skin produce little tiny molecules that the mosquitoes can smell. And some of them smell more delicious than others.
Yeah.
But the question of why some people smell better to mosquitoes is an open area of research that people are actively trying to understand. It's very interesting to people, and we want to know about it so that we can protect people from mosquitoes. But we still don't know the magic sauce that makes somebody particularly attractive.
I'm gonna check the timer. Oh, 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
God.
Okay, do you want to take your arm out of the box now?
I think I do. It's really uncomfortable.
Okay, let's bring how does he get his arm out of the box?
Yeah, so best things, you want to move your arm around because you want to agitate him, get him off your skin.
That feels good.
All right, and then like you were saying, blow down the stocking as you take your arm out.
Gotcha.
Try to get him
Okay.
off even more as you take your arm out. There you go, keep going, keep agitating. They're gonna fly as you do that. Good job. Nicely
Okay.
done.
Oh my god, look at my arm! I mean, I accidentally squished the mosquito, but that's insane! Straight out of the box!
Let's talk about what's happening here, because when it comes to mosquito bites, what is the mosquito actually drinking your blood for?
Mosquitoes need our blood in order to make eggs. So they use the protein and some of the fats from our blood, and they digest it slowly over the course of a few days, and they take all of those nutrients, and they produce hundreds of eggs that they then lay over the course of the next few days. There are some species of mosquitoes that can reproduce without a blood meal, but the vast majority of them cannot.
Okay, so Ray, let's come back to you here for a second, because I know everybody wants to know, what does it feel like to have been on the blood buffet line and making yourself a blood meal for science?
I mean, the reaction is so quick straight out of the box, but it's just so itchy, and I'm trying to resist just going in and scratching immediately because I believe that's really bad to do.
Is it?
With mosquito bites.
I mean, I think if you break the skin, yes, it would be, not a physician.
Okay.
But I'm saying, like, a lot of people like, oh, if I don't itch the mosquito bite, it'll go away faster.
I have not seen any data to that effect.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Okay, so see, another misnomer, which we don't know the truth to or not, but I have found that if you don't itch something, it doesn't continue to be itchy.
So it's the saliva that the mosquito spits into you that you're reacting to right now. At first, it suppresses your reaction and the feelings that you get, but after that, all of the proteins that were injected into your skin, now your body's reacting to their presence. And different people react a different amount, which is why some people get really big, bad mosquito bites and other people don't.
When I hold it up like that,
Wow.
look at that reaction right there. Like I said, it's just taking every fiber in my being to not just scratch this like crazy.
Well, I'm glad we were able to make an episode where somebody was bitten by something and it wasn't me, and I'm gonna escape this pretty much unscathed at this point.
Well, actually, Coyote, I talked to Sarah beforehand. You've been through this experiment before. She actually has this box right here that you can put more than just your arm in.
I can't fit inside of that box. What are you talking about?
This could actually go over your head. So if you're up for the challenge, I have everything you need to really go above and beyond with a mosquito blood buffet.
Sarah, are we okay with me donating myself for science as well?
We've cleared it with legal, so it's up to you.
There's no choice, Coyote. I'm definitely gonna pressure you into this. This box is ready for you. Are you ready to be eaten alive?
Let me see these. Do you guys have a bathroom here?
We sure do.
I'll be right back.
Time to clean up for the blood buffet. The table is set. It's time for the blood buffet.
Well, we are back. Coyote, you look like an entirely different person. How are you feeling right now?
I don't know how I get myself into these things, but I'm ready to put my head into a box with mosquitoes.
Okay, well, if you're ready, as soon as your head goes in the box, I am going to start a timer for 5 minutes, just like we did with my arm.
All right, I'll give you guys the classic. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the bite zone with thousands of mosquitoes on my head and face. Here we go.
Oh, immediately swarming his head. Oh my God, this is wild. You know what, to make it look just right, I'm gonna throw your hat on there. So Sarah, I feel like now is the perfect time to talk about diseases, because I think you mentioned this is one of the deadliest mosquito species on the planet, but do these carry any diseases?
So the mosquitoes in the cage right now with Coyote do not have any pathogens inside them because they were reared in a lab, so no concerns for disease transmission here. But this species of mosquito is the yellow fever mosquito, Aedes aegypti. It is responsible for transmitting lots of different diseases that cause hundreds of millions of cases every year and tens of thousands of deaths.
Wow.
The most deadly species of mosquito is in the Anopheles genus, so Anopheles gambiae and other mosquitoes related to that. That's because they transmit malaria. These mosquitoes do not transmit malaria to humans, but malaria is the most deadly mosquito-borne disease.
Wow.
Yeah, these mosquitoes transmit dengue virus, Zika virus, chikungunya virus, and yellow fever virus, which is what their name comes from.
Still a lot of heavy hitters. And Coyote, I see you back there kind of squirming around. I mean, are you able to like talk or anything?
Well, I don't want to talk too much so that I don't suck a mosquito into my mouth, but oh my gosh, I am getting eaten alive right now.
It's insane the amount of mosquitoes on your head. I already see some huge red bumps forming.
What's it look like? It feels like they're all over me, but I just can't tell.
I mean, at this point, it's hard to even see your skin. It's just a whole layer of mosquitoes on top. Coyote Peterson, ladies and gentlemen. So a lot of people out there are probably wondering, what is the best method or methods to protect themselves from mosquito-borne illnesses or just bites in general?
First thing is that you want to be aware of what mosquitoes transmit in the place where you live, or if you're traveling, what potential mosquito-borne diseases you might have to worry about. So do some research and figure out what you potentially have to deal with, and then talk to a physician about if you need any vaccines or anything like that. For example, there's a very effective yellow fever vaccine if you were traveling to a place with yellow fever. But in general, in order to protect yourself from mosquitoes, there's multiple things you can do. Our primary protection against mosquitoes are repellents.
Okay.
There are lots of repellents on the market today with lots of different active ingredients, and there are resources, for example, through the EPA that can tell you how effective they are and how long they last, and whether they protect against mosquitoes and ticks, or just mosquitoes or just ticks, for example. So wear repellents. Also, loose-fitting clothing, light-colored clothing tends to be better. Mosquitoes are attracted to dark colors.
I did not know that.
That's true. So that helps a lot.
This is so much worse than my arm. I can feel them biting my ears.
Oh my God. I mean, I thought I had it bad when my arm went in the box, but I'm so happy to be on the outside looking at you in the box. Let me check the phone right here. So you have 90 seconds remaining. Do you think you can make it that long?
I can. I know that I can. I'm trying not to breathe any of them in. I think it's, look, I've never shaved my head before, or haven't bicked my face like that since the bee beard. And I wonder if my skin is just more sensitive.
Yeah.
Because I can feel all of the bites, especially on my forehead and around my eyebrows.
Oh my God.
Oh, I
dude.
want to swat at them so bad.
I'm sure we're the first people to ever come to you to want to do something like this.
Yes, mosquito researchers do sometimes feed mosquitoes on their arms to if they have a colony that doesn't feed well on artificial blood meals.
Right.
But definitely not their heads.
Coyote, you are on an entirely different level. So going back to diseases, how exactly do mosquitoes transmit diseases to people?
That's a great question. So what happens when a mosquito is sucking your blood? If you remember, they are spitting into you, right?
Right.
So when they're spitting into you, it's their saliva that actually contains the pathogens that can make you sick.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. So when they feed, they take a blood meal, the blood goes into their gut, and then the pathogen actually invades their gut, moves throughout their body, and gets into their salivary glands, which are right at the base of their head, and make the saliva. So then when they're feeding, that saliva that contains viruses or parasites that cause malaria, they salivate those into your skin and they get right into your bloodstream to make you sick.
Oh my God. Let's take a final check here. You're past the 5-minute mark. I'm gonna leave it up to you if you want to stay in longer or come out now.
I mean, who doesn't want to be in a box full of mosquitoes drinking their blood?
Let's get this hat off. And if you need any assistance, oh my God.
Yeah. Shake your head. There you go. And then just slowly move back so that the stocking is stretched out around your head as you come out. Keep shaking. That's good. I think you're good to come out.
I'm so ready for this reveal. Oh my God!
Does it look weird?
It looks insane! The top of your head is filled with bumps!
Thanks.
Dude. This is way worse than I thought it was gonna be.
Is it really?
Dude, the top of your head, like right here.
It's so itchy. It's so itchy. Okay. What was so uncomfortable was on my ears and around my eyebrows for some reason. They were just after it. I could feel all the lumps. What you guys probably couldn't see is look at the back of my head. It's got tons of bumps. I feel like they were almost like my breath was going off the glass into the back. And they were all over the back of my head. It's so itchy right now.
I mean, as we talked about earlier, mosquitoes are attracted to CO2 and also body heat, right? So, I mean, this was just the perfect recipe for a blood buffet.
Yeah.
Yeah, wild. So, Sarah, we're certainly appreciative that you let us go through these extreme experiments today, but let's actually take a minute to talk about some of the important research that you're doing here at The Ohio State University.
I would love to. Thank you for the opportunity. So our lab studies the many different ways that mosquitoes interact with microbes. So bacteria and fungi, but especially bacteria. And the reason we care about this is because when the mosquitoes are larvae, when they're swimming around in the water and those little squirmy wormies, they are eating bacteria pretty much constantly. And depending on what type of bacteria they're ingesting, it has a completely different effect on how quickly they develop, on how big they are, how long they live. Even we're finding that their ability to mate is affected by what types of bacteria they eat, because it's a part of their diet. It affects how they grow up, basically. Sort of like probiotics for mosquitoes. But we're interested in trying to figure out if there are different bacteria that we can study that either could be used for control programs, or maybe there are microbes that are actually bad for the mosquitoes, like pathogenic to the mosquitoes, the same way the dengue virus and the malaria that they transmit to us is pathogenic to us. So we're trying to find new microbes that could potentially be used as what we call biocontrol agents.
So, good news for me is that I don't think I have any dengue, but oh my gosh, dengue is my face itchy right now.
So just hold still right there. Let me get another shot of the top of your head, because it's just continuing to get worse. I mean, dude, this is 10 times worse than what I thought it was going to be.
I didn't mention it, but these mosquitoes are what we call highly anthropophilic. It means they love to bite people. They almost exclusively bite people.
I think we see first evidence of that.
Yeah, I got bit a couple times. But we're talking about the deadliest animal on the face of the planet. And the research that you're doing here at OSU is hopefully heading toward the future of preventing some of this disease spread.
Yeah, that's our hope. So the more that we learn about the way that mosquitoes interact with microbes, the more we can potentially use those interactions to control mosquitoes.
Well, the work that you guys are doing here is absolutely fascinating, and we can't thank you enough for letting us participate in what we consider an extreme experiment. I look into the container and I see a lot of really happy female mosquitoes that have had more blood than they know what to do with. Ray, I know you got the chance to enter the bite zone with mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think it's time to get some B-roll and scratch my head.
Yeah, from a safety standpoint, I think it's time to cut cameras and get you some treatment. But until next time, I'm Ray Tiller.
I'm Coyote Peterson.
Be brave.
Stay wild.
We'll see you on the next adventure.